everybody a little bit about, your journey. What was going on with your hormones? What was going on?
So it started back when I was 14. I
Mm.
got put on the pill
Mm.
by our family doctor because I had irregular periods. I started my periods when I was 12. They were always irregular, so I got put on the pill, and then I was on the pill for 20 years, which is a long time when I say that out loud.
It's a long time.
And then when my husband and I decided to start a family, I got off the pill, and about a year went by, and still nothing, crickets. So after a while, it was sort of just nothing was happening, and I finally got one period, and I was like, okay, we're getting things going here. And then again, crickets. It
Hmm.
was, a couple months, I got another one, and it was over the next year or so, they were just really erratic. Sometimes my cycle was 45 days, sometimes it was 32 days, sometimes it was, 50 something days. It was just all over the place.
Really challenging when you're trying to conceive, right? Because you're like, when am I ovulating actually? How can you plan for that? Very frustrating.
Right.
Yeah.
So we began seeing fertility specialists who ran all sorts of blood work and all that kind of stuff. And it basically, we were just trying to time, like you just said, just trying to time everything, and it was near impossible to do that. And one of the things I'm sure a lot of people deal with is the doctors were, I was going in for ultrasounds a lot to see where I was in my phases, but no one seemed to be worried about why my periods were so far along, so far apart. And that was something that really bothered me. It was sort of like, well, why are my periods so irregular? And they were just sort of like, just the way it is. Let's focus on getting you pregnant. And it never really, which is why when I found your program, it really resonated with me because it was more about like, there's so much that's out of your control when you're dealing with fertility that this was something that I sort of felt like was very hands-on and I could control it, and it was just sort of it can't hurt was kind of how I went into it. And then I came out with obviously a much better outcome than I ever imagined.
So what happened? Tell us what happened.
So I started the program, and it took about, I'd say within 3 months was when things started to regulate.
Yeah.
My cycles, and it wasn't like instantly all of a sudden I had a 28-day cycle, but they just started getting shorter and shorter and shorter
Yeah.
until I got to about the 20, 30-day range, and that kind of stayed consistent. So,
Perfect.
yeah, and so at that point, though, we've been trying to conceive now. I think that was probably around 2.5 years.
Mm.
So the doctors were really pushing for IVF, also due to my age, because I was 35 at the time. And I just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of was like, let's just give it one more month.
Yeah. Listening to that inner wisdom. Yeah.
I just kept sort of pushing it out, and I just felt like, I don't know, I just sort of had a little more patience, I think, than I thought I would, I guess. And so we started, like I said, about 3 months into the program, things started to even out, and it was very shortly after that I got pregnant. I'd say within 6 months of me starting everything and being consistently within it was when I got pregnant. And so we had our baby 7 months ago, and now I'm sort of starting over again, trying to get back on track with things.
Yeah.
The same protocol. So yeah, it totally worked for me, and I think it's like you just said, that inner wisdom. It's one of those things where there's so much information being thrown at you, and you're kind of trying to navigate this really unknown thing that it just was this little corner that felt like I had some knowledge to, that I could control things a little bit, through diet, lifestyle, and all those kinds of things. So.
I mean, I want to give you all the credit. I mean, I know you logged on and you did the program online and it was easy and we had it there for you, but you did all the work and you got this extraordinary result, which is very possible for any woman with these types of issues. You just have to just change your diet. And I know that nobody's talking about it. I don't know why. I'm happy to be the only one. But I mean, this is why I'm so honored that you wanted to share your story, because for women who might be listening and thinking, could it really be that easy to change my food up and get such an extraordinary result? The answer really is yes. And in fact, all the research is showing us that small changes in just for example, adding 3 avocados a week to your diet has been clinically shown to increase fertility, even with patients who are doing IVF. That's just one food that you're changing. And in our program, we're changing everything about your eating. And it just amplifies your fertility to such a degree. It's really amazing.
Yeah, and the other thing that, the diet was obviously probably the biggest part for me because I was fairly healthy.
I love that. Yep.
But I wasn't doing it correctly, and I wasn't managing my blood sugar properly. I was drinking a ton of caffeine in the morning, and I was just my snacks weren't right. Just not eating enough protein and a lot of carbohydrates at night, and just all these things that they turned out to be pretty simple tweaks that made a big difference. But for me, I think one of the biggest takeaways was even just the idea of it being an overall lifestyle. That it's not so much just about diet. That it's the idea of having things that are enjoyable, pleasure in your days, so that you're not drawn to sugary snacks for pleasure, and that you're getting it from better places, so to speak. And then I was a former runner, and the idea of like scaling back on that, maybe doing things that are a little more nurturing but less intense, like yoga or
at certain times in your cycle. For those who might not know what we're talking about, we actually exercise and eat according to the 4 phases of our cycle to amplify and optimize our hormonal ratios, and that's what Rachel's talking about.
Those were the things that had a really profound effect on me because I was so just kind of a, I don't know, one-size-fits-all mentality, sort of.
Yeah.
You eat the same things and you run every day, and it's, every week is the same. And it wasn't until I was able to break down, my cycle week by week, what my cycle was and what my strengths were each week, and different foods to eat and how to eat them and how to prepare them and all these things. It was just really, really eye-opening.
Yeah.
It's been life-changing, to say the least.
Well, I can't be more thrilled that you have become a mom and that you're happy and healthy. And I know that you're going back to the protocol now, postpartum, to really restore your vitality and keep your hormones balanced. And I know that all the work you were doing leading up to getting pregnant, really put you in a great place to avoid postpartum depression, which I know you didn't have. And I mean, there's just so many wonderful things when you start to commit to the truth of how your body works, right? Like you were saying before, instead of just operating as if we were men, so to speak, right? The same day, because men have a 24-hour hormonal cycle. So they can do the same thing day in and day out because that lines up with their hormonal patterns. We have a 28-day hormonal pattern and we need to match up to that. And so the fact that you've committed to that process, it just sets you up for the healthiest version of you that you're going to get. And it's so, so exciting to see it in action.
Yeah, it's postpartum. It's definitely something I'm trying to get sort of to get back into. And I mentioned this earlier, but just the idea of pleasure, of allowing myself to find things, even if it's like going for a walk by myself or 5 minutes to watch a TV program I don't want to watch, or things that are really basic, which at this time in my life now seem more difficult than they ever were, but it's also probably much more important than it's ever been. It's just there's so many lessons throughout every video that I watched and that I continue to watch on the protocol that, even now when I watch the videos, I pick up on something, especially postpartum. I'm in a different situation, but I always pick up on something that just resonates with me differently all of a sudden. So it's certainly something worth revisiting, even if you've done it once. It's kind of an ongoing thing. So
I've been living it for 17 years. So yeah, you have a long way to go, Mama. It's good. It's good. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And, for anyone who's watching, if you're struggling with having been on the pill like Rachel forever, and then you're, trying to get pregnant and you're being bombarded with medical stuff about having to do IVF or you're running out of time, Rachel's such a great example for all of us that, even at what standard medical practice would consider advanced maternal age, which I laugh at because you're saying that they were telling you were old at 35. And we just had a woman on who we got pregnant at 42. So, that it's just your perspective, right? If anybody's dealing with these things, I just want you to know the sooner you start, living in the flow, doing the protocol, the easier this will be for you whenever you choose to become a mother, so that it can be the natural, pleasurable experience that it's designed to be. And congratulations, Rachel, on being a revolutionary with your own body, giving your daughter the healthiest start she could have because you were a healthy mom pre and during pregnancy, and of course, after. The role modeling, just wait till she goes through puberty. You're going to have it down on lock. And for everybody who's listening, check everything out that we're doing on Flo Living. And if you need a place to start with our 4-day detox. It's free, it's easy, it's 4 days to start feeling really, really fantastic. And Rachel, thank you again. Sending you lots of love.